Hello, this is the new MG ZS Hybrid, following on from the previous MG ZS Hybrid. This is actually the Hybrid Plus, a brand new car for late 2024, early 2025. And look, it's quite nice. It's a small SUV, it's got lovely features, it's got LED lights at the front, LED lights at the back, it's got nice 17-inch wheels, it's got a choice of different paint jobs, and all in all, it's a nice car. Now, MG have launched a few different variants of this, or I should say, will be launching a few different variants of this. This one is the Hybrid Plus, as I say, so it's a 1.5 litre petrol engine paired up with a battery and electric motor. And then later on, in early 2025, they'll be launching the new full EV version, as well as a full petrol version as well. Who knew? New petrol cars in 2025, it's happening. But this one being the Hybrid Plus, it's exciting for a number of reasons, because it's full of new technology, it's got some really nice luxuries, and all in all, from a styling point of view, looks very, very good in a competition environment which is quite busy. But this has got a slight advantage: its price. This car, as you see it right here, exactly here, £21,995. That makes it extremely good value. So does that mean it's a bit cheap and a bit nasty? Well, no. Let's go for a drive and I'll explain all. Oh. Now, seeing as this is the launch event for the car, we haven't got a huge amount of time with it. So this is going to be a shorter video than usual. However, fear not, because I'll be able to give you the nitty-gritty, in-depth bits and pieces in my written review, which you'll be able to see over at driven.site. But look at this, here we are, inside our £21,995 car, which you'd be forgiven for thinking at a price tag like that it would be really basic and feel a bit cheap and nasty, but no, look at this. Nice interior fabrics, same on the seats. I've got buttons all over the steering wheel. I've got cruise control, assisted cruise control, radar cruise control. I've got a full infotainment system here with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's really nice, really nice. Let's go for a little drive. I'll tell you about power and performance and how it steers. So this is it. This is the new MG ZS, and it's nice. This is a car, as I said in the opening, which is the best part of 21 grand. And cars aren't really that cheap anymore. And I know there might be a few people watching going, oh, 21 grand for an entry-level car. Well, go and look at other cars for sale in a similar category to this, similar size, similar interior, similar tech. This is the cheapest. And in fact, I did a bit of working out this morning. This MG ZS is the second cheapest car that we've reviewed this year. The only other thing that's been cheaper is the Dacia Duster. But that probably doesn't count anymore, because that model's about to be replaced for a new 2025 model, which I expect is going to be more expensive than this. And it doesn't feel cheap, it doesn't feel budget. The interior feels nice. I've got a beautiful big touch screen. I've got access to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I've got DAB radio. I've got built-in navigation. And then I've got another screen in front of me here, which would typically have been old plastic needles going up and down. Nope, that's a colour screen there as well. And when I flick through driver modes, I'm given all the information on the screen to tell me about the different settings, and of course you can change themes and colours and that sort of thing, so you can really personalise this car, make it feel your own. Now, the other thing that you might be thinking, bearing in mind this is a car at £21,000, is you're probably thinking, oh, I bet it's not very quick. Well, you'd be wrong. It's actually quite impressive. This being the Hybrid Plus means that it's married up with a selection of different powertrains. So we have a battery, we have a motor, and then we also have a 1.5 litre petrol engine as well. And I'll run through a few of the stats of each. So the 1.5 litre petrol engine, that pushes out 75 kilowatts in power. That's then married up to an 18.3 kilowatt hour battery, plus a 45 kilowatt generator. If you're wondering what all of this means, don't worry, I'll cover it in the written review. And what you get in return for that combined powertrain, including engine, electric motor, battery and generator, is 145 kilowatts of power. If you're wondering what that is in old money, it's about 194 British horsepowers. So it's no slouch. And in fact, I'll prove that to you. I'm going to come to a stop here on this 60-mile-per-hour road, and I'll just plant it. It feels like a 200 horsepower car. And there's 60. It's no slouch. It rides well. It steers well. The interior fit and finish is lovely. In fact, let me show you a bit more of that now, and then we'll head back to base and give a bit of a summary. Good car, this. So first things first, can we just observe this? This is buttons, physical, actual buttons that you can push with your fingers. No haptic nonsense, nothing to slide across. But then we have, luckily, got the full touchscreen as well, which, look at that, it's responsive and quick. It doesn't feel laggy or slow, and I have to be honest here, I've experienced far worse systems in cars that cost a hell of a lot more than this. The main one that, of course, everyone's going to use is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and that is brilliant as well, as you can tell. You've got all the usual interface systems, what you'd hope to see. It just works, and it works really well. And then over here, on the steering wheel, I've got a selection of buttons. We've got programmable favourite buttons here, like quick options. So at the moment, it's been keyed in to adjust the regen, so you can have a more aggressive or less aggressive regen. I've got buttons to activate the cruise control. I've got buttons to activate voice controls. I've, of course, got buttons to access the phone. And then, of course, the ability to switch through screens on here as well. This feels like a car that should probably be somewhere in the region of 30 to maybe even £50,000, and yet it's not. It's, well, half that. And as you can probably tell as well, we're driving along at 56 miles an hour, and it's quiet and refined and comfortable. But I wonder how it sounds on the motorway. So let's find out. So here we are on the motorway. And you might be thinking, a 1.5 litre petrol engine probably isn't going to be all that impressive on the motorway. Well, you'd be wrong. And again, you can thank the hybrid powertrain for that. Well, in fact, you can thank two things. Firstly, the hybrid powertrain. Secondly, the gearbox. Now, this has a 3-speed automatic box. So I've got no paddles, no way of overriding what gear I want to be in, but you don't necessarily need that, because the way that the power is delivered through the 3-speed gearbox, it's similar in a way, in sound and feel, to a CVT box, but it's not a CVT box. And I'll demonstrate this because I'm doing 55 miles an hour currently on the M40, and I'm going to plant my foot into the floor now. 66, 7, 8, 9, 70. Simple as that. This thing doesn't feel like a 1.5 litre petrol engine car. This thing feels, when accelerating like that, more like an EV. And that makes it pretty impressive. And then the other things I'm noticing whilst driving along on the motorway, firstly, it's reasonably quiet for a £21,000 car, and I've got other luxuries like blind spot indicators. So when I'm switching lanes or being overtaken by other cars, I'm getting alerted to it on either side. My Land Rover Defender doesn't have that. And that's a lot more expensive than this. £21,995. Is that not utterly bonkers to you? Because to me, it is, especially when you consider what you get for the money. But do you want to know something even crazier? Well, MG this morning in their little briefing that they do, they told me that the majority of people that buy a new ZS are not going to buy this one. The majority are going to get what's called the Trophy, which is a slightly more expensive one. This one's called the SE, standard equipment. The Trophy comes with even more tech, things like 360-degree cameras and heated seats and heated wheel and slightly nicer upholstery, all that sort of stuff. But get this, that one's only £24,495. So if you want the best of the best, top of the range car, it's less than 25 grand. And that's mad. I think I've made it clear. I've been quite impressed by this car, but you can find out my full written review with my thoughts on driving impressions and everything else over on the website. You can see that right now. Head on over to driven.site/words to see my full written article and some beautiful photographs taken by our very own Henry. For now, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give us a follow on Instagram if you're there, at driven.site, exactly the same as our website, driven.site. Thanks very much for watching. See you again very soon. MGZS Hybrid Plus. Bargain.